All right, guys, welcome back into Two Baptists and a Mormon Walk into a Pentecostal Church, episode 18.
18.
Yes.
Oh, we finally hit adulthood.
We did. We're legal to vote
We
now.
can vote. Yay!
We can vote on what we think. You know, it's been so cold. I just want to throw that out.
Yes.
As we're recording, it was down to 12, which felt like -3 the last 2 nights. And when you have to go feed horses and chickens and the water's frozen and you have to break it up and then you have to bring the waters back up here and let them thaw out during the day and take them back in the evening, that's a process.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Anybody want to buy some horses? And the chickens aren't laying.
Somebody tried to buy your horses already. You
They
said
did.
no.
I said no. I know.
Be careful, because
That's
now they're
before
going to
they
get a call and
froze.
somebody's going to ask you.
He already bought another one.
Yeah,
So
okay.
yeah. So anyway, chickens aren't laying. May as well get rid of them too. So this is episode 18, honor versus worship.
Mm.
And we want to dig into what it looks like to honor someone and then what it looks like to worship the Lord and honor the Lord, right? So there's honoring people. We should never worship people, but we worship and honor the Lord and we honor people. So that's kind of the framework for what we want to talk about. And I do want to say also, before we dive in, we had somebody send in about 10 questions.
Oh.
And that somebody was a conglomerate of our wives from last week. And I'm refusing to answer any of them because
Yeah.
they were not
Well,
very
they were-
serious when they sent them.
Here's the thing. They were
And I didn't feel good
questions. They were
about it.
questions that if they truly would have thought about it, they already knew the answers to.
They were just being silly.
I mean, why would my
It was
wife
insulting.
ask what my favorite color is? She should know my favorite color.
Maybe she doesn't. She's trying to buy you a Christmas present.
No.
No. That's true. That's true.
I got nothing.
Got nothing.
John's staying out of
Um,
trouble.
Well, I mean, the fact is that we all are here again to record, so we survived.
That's
We
two
did- we did
episodes
survive.
with
We
our
did.
wives,
We
and
did.
we're all still married.
Yeah,
And we got some good feedback. Somebody on social media shared, I loved this episode and just the camaraderie of the episode. And I was like, that's cool. I'll
That's
take it.
awesome.
Yeah.
It was
Um,
good.
So honor versus worship. So the fundamental difference between honor and worship really lies in ultimate worth and allegiance. There's a couple of Hebrew and Greek words I want to point out here because I think it really does help set the stage. But there's a difference between worship and honor. Worship, the Hebrew word for worship is shakah, and the Greek is prosekuno. I'm sure I have butchered those words tremendously, but that actually means ascribing supreme value, where honor in the Hebrew is kabod and Greek is timeo, which recognizes appropriate dignity and respect. So let's talk about the differences, what you guys think are the difference between worship and honor.
Well, in a worship and honor, I mean, simplistically, all right, if we're just going to go simple, let's go simple first.
Yeah, I like it.
One person and one person alone should we be worshiping,
Yes.
and that's God.
Yep.
Now, if you want to get real technical, it's 3 and 1. So, okay, say 3.
Yeah.
That's the only thing at all that should be worshiped, period, is God. Now, honor is due to those who God has placed everywhere,
Mm-hmm.
And to God also.
and to God also, because, let's break it down in Ephesians, honor your father and mother.
Mhm.
You're supposed, okay, so that's, you're honoring them, right? Then also, we should be honoring, okay, let's look at the church structure. You should be honoring your pastors. You should be honoring your leadership. You should be honoring the pastoral family.
Yep, all true.
They get respect too and should be treated as such. You should honor and respect those who work tirelessly.
Mm.
And it's not just the pastoral staff. It's not just the elders, the deacons, what have you. It should also be, you should honor the parking lot workers who are standing out there
That's right.
and be kind and nice, knowing that they're doing everything they can to get you in. And so honor, to me, you could also break that down as respect. Show respect, honor and respect. Does that make sense?
Sure.
But there's no worshiping. I don't worship the parking lot attendant because they have cool vests. I'm just being facetiously,
John.
but whatever.
ANSI standard
Yeah.
vest. there.
I mean, I shouldn't be worshiping a deacon because maybe he can get me on the praise team that I want to be on.
Get you a front row seat, buddy.
Right.
Hey.
It's all those things. Nor should I be worshiping my pastor to the point of which it's unhealthy, because then at that point, if you're worshiping the pastor, it could be turned very easily into a cult, and you could be easily led astray.
Yeah, any worship of your pastor is unhealthy and ungodly.
Very unhealthy. So that's kind of my brain, how it works.
Let me do this too, because I think this will help a little bit too. And I agree with everything that you said, John. I'm not cutting you off, but I agree
Sweet.
with what you said. Proskuno, which is the Greek
Yes,
word
sir.
for worship, literally means to kiss toward, implies bowing down in reverence and submission. It's used 60 times in the New Testament alone, and it's directed toward God.
Mm-hmm.
So that 60 times in the New Testament, that's a lot to think about that word of worship. Laturo, which is the Greek, is sacred service. It's religious devotion reserved for God alone, nobody else. And shakah, which is the Hebrew, is to bow down or prostrate oneself in worship, not prostate. That's an organ in your body. Honor. Sorry. I used to love when people would say, yeah, my prostrate's swelling. I'm like, nope, it's not.
Yeah.
No.
It's not swelling.
Or let's lay.
Yeah.
The best one was my mom being a choir director and led, choirs at church many times and let angels prostrates fall.
Yeah, no, don't do it. We're in a ditch. I'm pulling us back up. Honor, tameo is Greek, is to value, esteem, show respect, used for God and people. Kabod is to make heavy or weighty, like the weighty presence of God. But it's also to give weight to someone's words or their presence, which I thought was very interesting. And then finally, doxa is the Greek, it's glory, but it also can mean honor when recognizing someone's dignity. So we give glory and we give honor to someone's position, to their dignity, who they are. Jeremy, what's your thoughts on the difference between worship and honor?
I mean, I can just echo and say amen to everything that has already been said. I mean,
yeah.
Two words that have been coined and phrased, used often in this podcast is heart posture.
Heart posture.
And so, yes, you can honor your pastors. You can honor those who are in service to the Lord. But if they're the only ones that can pray for you, is that a line that's been crossed?
Yes.
Right? Or have we elevated? We have to be cautious not to elevate them because they are man, and they all men fail.
Yeah.
Right? And so if we put our hope and our trust and we've elevated them to the point of worshiping them and they fail, then oftentimes that's where church hurt comes in, and we tend to run.
100%, and like I said, 100%.
Hey,
I knew
we're getting
I
all
was
the words.
working hard not to do that tonight, and I failed in the first 7 minutes. So you're exactly right. I think honor in itself, we honor people, and as soon as we elevate those people past honor, it becomes worship, and I think that's key. Worship is God's exclusive domain. Matthew 4:10 says, "Then Jesus said to him, Away with you, Satan, for it is written, You shall worship the Lord your God, and him only shall you serve."
Yeah.
Revelation 19:10, "And I fell at his feet to worship him, but he said to me, See that you do not do that. I am your fellow servant and of your brethren who have the testimony of Jesus. Worship God, for the testimony of Jesus is the spirit of prophecy." So, we get sideways, and I think sometimes awe of people and their position turns into worship. It may start out from a pure place of, I want to honor this person and honor their calling on their life and honoring what they're doing, but it quickly turns into a place of worship if you get too much awe going on, right?
Absolutely.
Ultimate allegiance and obedience belong to God and God alone. This is an interesting one. Prayer and intercession are reserved strictly for God. Now, I don't want to, hurt our Catholic friends there, but they're if you're praying to anybody other than God, biblically, you're wrong. Credit for salvation and redemption belongs to God alone.
Mm-hmm.
Trust as our ultimate security belongs to God alone. Your pastor cannot get you to heaven.
Neither can your parents, your grandparents, your auntie or uncle's testimony.
That's
Nobody
exactly
else can
right.
get you there but him.
Now, that doesn't mean we don't honor people, right? We honor our
Sure.
parents. Exodus 20:12, honor your father and mother, for your days may be long upon the land which the Lord your God has given you. Ephesians 6:2, honor your father and mother, which is the first commandment with promise. So we honor our parents. We are called to honor them. Scripturally, biblically, we are called to honor our parents. Leaders and authority, Romans 13:7, render therefore to all their due. Taxes to whom taxes are due, custom to whom customs are due, fear to whom fear, and honor to whom honor. 1 Timothy 5:17, let elders who rule well be counted worthy of double honor, especially those who labor in the word and doctrine. John, do we get double honor? Do we labor? I don't know.
I don't know.
But see, that just goes to a point that I want to talk about here in a minute.
Uh-oh.
Remember what you just said.
Okay.
Double honor?
Or not, I mean, yeah.
Okay.
You can talk about that if you want to. Go jump in.
Well, I think an issue comes in where honor, worship becomes expected from people in positions of authority.
Yep.
Which then crosses a very dangerous line.
Yep.
Because then it's expected. It's an example that is being put forth that then, oh man, I'm trying to say this without, because at that point, it gets to a point to where then, well, this is something that's unattainable for you. There's nobody in a position of leadership at a church that everybody can reach that same, if you want to say, level.
Yeah.
There is no different, there are different levels, but it's up to you to put in the work to where you want to go and what has God called you to do.
Yeah.
Is any of that making sense? Because I feel like I'm tripping over myself trying to be careful.
Try not to say what you want to say.
Yes.
So if you are called to be a pastor,
right,
there is not a level of pastoral duties that you cannot obtain, right? You can be a pastor of a small church. You can be a pastor of a big church. You can be a pastor that has an outreach ministry. You can be a pastor that has fantastic youth groups, all the programs, all the things in the world, the best theological knowledge, all the studies, all the things. You can obtain that.
Right.
You can't obtain what God has.
Correct.
You can't obtain to be God.
Right.
Is that what you're trying to say?
In essence.
Okay.
But then it's where honor turns into the worship. Sometimes there are times when there are people in position demand the worship aspect, calling it honor.
I don't disagree with that. And I think sometimes they don't start out that way.
They don't
I
start
think
out
they
that
get
way.
accustomed to it.
Yes.
And then they start believing their own press and their own hype. And they
Yes.
turn into a celebrity pastor.
Yes.
And
That's thank you. That's
There we
exactly
go.
what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And then once you get there, then it's hard to get off that.
It's hard to get off
right.
that.
You're on the roller coaster and you like the feeling of the roller coaster. So you know what? You got a free pass. Go ahead and take another ride. Yeah, I think I will. Thank you.
Yeah, and again, I'm trying to bring in full circle to what a lot of people can think on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because at times, like you said, early on in the ministry, there are times when pastors are doing everything. They're the children's pastors, they're the worship leaders, they're the youth pastors, they're the janitors, they're everything. And then the Lord blesses and he brings people alongside to help. But then, let me preface something real quick. I'm not talking about anybody specifically. I'm just generalizing a conversation. So anybody who's think I'm out here talking about somebody specifically, I am not.
If we talk about specific people, we'll tell you.
I'm just going to tell you because I don't have a good enough filter to just not say.
Right. Yeah, same.
But what tends to happen is then when the pastors or people in place of leadership, it doesn't have to be just pastors.
Right.
It could be the lead on the parking lot team. It could be your lead in security. But then, let's say security. You're working security, you're the only one working it. You're the head usher in security, you're doing it all by yourself, and then you get people there to help along with you, but then all of a sudden you're too good to do some of the things anymore.
Yep.
That's what we have to guard against. And I say we, not excluding me. I have to work on, because it's very easy to get used to the tickling of the ear. Oh, hey, John, listen, you taught that. Nobody can teach Sunday school like you do. Oh, yes, they can, and do it a lot better than I do.
It's the biggest downfall that I have, and I know that I have it. Like, and I've said this before, I think on a previous podcast, pride is my issue. I know it is. And I have to, because I'm a words of affirmation person, when I get praise and feedback as much as I want it, I have to filter it. I have to. When I'm going to teach Sunday school, or if Crystal and I are going out to speak or to do anything, my main prayer point, and this may sound awful, is not even about what I'm talking about. My main prayer point is, God, please keep my self out of the way. Don't let my pride get above. Don't let me ever step into any type of teaching moment thinking I have arrived and I am worthy of everything that anybody wants to throw at me.
And see, that's really awesome because you have that self-awareness and you are humble enough to say, okay, God, I recognize this in myself. First of all, I need to cast this down.
Yeah.
Die daily. Okay, that's a part of your dying daily. But see how many of us know our tendencies, but don't cast it down and then allow.
Yeah, it's the way the Lord made me.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And thankfully I was, and I don't mean this tongue in cheek. I mean it. Crystal is great about keeping me grounded. I mean, sometimes she's rough in the way that she does it, but she is great in keeping me grounded, and I need that in my life. If I had somebody that just fluffed me constantly, I would be a nightmare. I mean, I would be. That's the truth.
But see, then there's a problem with the exact opposite. My problem is I get done teaching, or if Tara and I go to minister and I'm asked to preach or anything like that, I'm like, that was horrible. What was I even doing?
Yeah.
I don't even think it made any sense. You can go to both sides of the spectrum, and
which is not healthy either.
Right. Which is why I've been studying on a thing, and I've said it here on the podcast. All it is our job as Christians is that when God gives us a word, to deliver the package, deliver the message, and then let it fall where it falls.
That's right.
And because, again, God is the one who convicts.
Yep.
So if you're all about getting numbers at the altar, again, it goes into that pride thing, right? Which could turn into expected worship. Does that just make sense?
It does.
Okay.
So we talked about
I say that a lot too.
Honoring people, our parents, our leadership and authority. I want to talk about two more categories, and then I want to throw something out to discuss again. So marriage, right? For 1 Peter 3:7, husbands likewise dwell with them with understanding, giving honor to the wife as the weaker vessel, as being heirs together of the grace of life, that your prayers may not be hindered. Ephesians 5:33, nevertheless, let each of you in particular so love his own wife as himself, and let his wife see that she respects her husband. Overall, Romans 12:10, be kindly affectionate to one another with brotherly love and honor, giving preference to one another. And finally, 1 Peter 2:17, honor all people, love the brotherhood, fear God, and honor the king. So here's something that kind of pricked me when I was studying for this. We find it easy to give honor to pastors, right? We find it easy to give honor to leadership. I honor the leadership of our church. I honor Pastor Aaron and Pastor Amanda. I honor the elders of our church. I honor those people. Where it gets tricky is, do I honor my wife correctly? Do I show, and even parents, do I show the same reverence to my wife or to my parents or to my brothers and sisters in the faith that I do to Pastor Aaron and Pastor Amanda? The answer is no. Like if I'm sitting in a church service and it's a revival somewhere and Bishop Wallace comes in or Pastor Greg comes in, I would revere and honor them more than probably if Crystal walked in. And that pricked me today because I thought, I'm out of line. Now, I can honor the calling on their life, but I can't honor them more. There's nowhere scripturally that tells me to honor them more. In fact, the opposite, honor all people. So talk to me about that. What do you think about that?
That's a loaded one right there, right? I mean, because there are, especially, I'm going to talk about it in probably an oversimplified way, right? We talked about it a little bit on the marriage podcast. I honor my wife by not putting myself in situations of compromise. Mm-hmm. I honor our relationship and I honor her by opening her door. Not because she's not capable of opening her door. She's fully capable of opening her door. I'm fully capable of making coffee in the morning, but she knows that I like that. And so most mornings I wake up and she's already brewed the coffee, right? It's an honor. It's a respect thing just to be like, hey, here we go. And then it's very, very oversimplified. But on a daily basis, yeah, if somebody walks in and we're all anticipating,
go ahead.
I can't leave this service unless I get a word from so-and-so because they always bring a word,
Sure.
prophetic word or whatever. And I honor them to that level, but I'm not honoring my family because I'm not doing what I should be doing. I'm not putting too much time in my phone instead of sitting and talking and praying with my wife. Giving more honor for work than I am my wife, my kids, right? More time there. I'm in a different season of life now, and my kids are grown. Every one of them's grown, and the youngest is getting married here in a couple weeks, and she will honor us continually by, Christina said it last time, the way she's going to honor us moving forward is by being the best wife she can be.
Yeah.
But there are times when you sit back and you go, okay, I did not honor my family. I did not honor my wife appropriately because I put ministry above them at that point, or I put my calling above them at certain different points in life, or I put work above them. Looking back now, there's one chance. You got your kids at home for so long, and you got one opportunity, one shot. And when you put those other things above them, I believe that we're not giving the honor that is due to our families. And therefore, the vicious cycle is, if we're not giving honor to them as God has instructed us to do, are we honoring Him? Because if He asks us to do it, we're going to honor Him by doing it.
Yep.
If you love me, you'll keep my commandments. I mean, that's Jesus laid it out very plain and simple. If you love me, you will keep my commandments. You will follow me. And so if God has asked us to honor our families and our wives and our spouses, and we don't, in turn, we are not honoring Him because we put our own desires above His for us.
So let me, there's something we said last week and maybe 2 weeks ago. Anyway, it was one of those 2 episodes with our wives that was said, but we didn't dwell on it very long. And I'd just like to bring it up here because of what you just said. The fact of the matter is, there's my phrase, you're welcome.
100%.
100%. Is that there was a family before there was a church.
Yeah.
There was a family before there was a ministry.
Mm.
So if you're more concerned about your ministry than you are your family, then you're not honoring the call God's given to you and placed on your life, simply for the fact of you're allowing it to take over your family.
Mm-hmm.
So again, anything that you worship, right, outside of God, in essence, comes into being an idol.
Yeah, it's idolatry. For
Yeah.
sure.
It's idolatry. So, which have no other gods before me.
Yep.
So anything that is being, and that's one way to put it in this breakdown.
Yeah.
Worship should be one thing only.
Yeah.
And that's God. If you worship anything else, it's an idol.
And that includes your parents.
That
the leaders,
includes it.
your marriage,
Yes, it
and your
does.
brothers and sisters. And here's the caveat to what I said earlier about we shouldn't honor leaders or pastors any more than we honor parents in marriage. Within the confines of a service, that's not necessarily true, meaning that if there's a pastor up preaching and he tells you to do whatever, but the person beside you says don't do that, then there's an honor of, hey, I'm honoring what my pastor said versus what the person beside me said.
And
so I just
so-
want to clarify that.
Sure.
Well, and the flip side to that is, why is it that during revival, or at our church we call it overflow, why is there such a sense in the room, you could feel it, it's tangible, of expectancy when a guest preacher comes in?
Ooh, go ahead.
Mhm.
And then when our pastors get up every Sunday, you don't come in with that same
Preach.
expectation.
Right?
Just because such and so special pastor is going to be there. I mean, literally, I've walked into the room and it is so tangible you could cut it with a knife.
Yeah. The anticipation?
The anticipation, the expectancy of what God's going to do that night.
Do you want me to flip a table?
Flip it.
Uh-oh.
This is hot on my mind just because John has been with Logan on the weekends, and Jeff and I have been teaching Sunday school, and it's frustrating the amount of people that are in Sunday school. But how much do you want to bet that if we announce next week that any big name pastor was coming to teach Sunday school
We'd have
as
to
a
move to
special
the
Sunday?
sanctuary.
Isn't that funny?
It's frustrating. Well, look, I'll say this. It's frustrating how many people sit outside the door. Well, let me
Ooh.
get in my microphone a little bit more on that one. It's
Had
frustrating
that conversation today.
how many people sit outside the door.
Yep.
And then when you come out of Sunday school, they say, oh, man, yeah, I need to get to Sunday school. I'm like, well, why not?
Yeah.
I mean, you're here anyway.
And hear my heart, not condemnation. You do what you need to do in church, whether that's our church or anybody else's. But I will say it is extremely frustrating when people don't have a desire to be discipled. And I'm just going to move on right there. Here's some biblical examples of right honor. So in Genesis 23 and 12 and 13, then Abraham bowed himself down before the people of the land, and he spoke to Ephron in the hearing of the people of the land, saying, if you will give it, please hear me. I will give you money for the field. Take it from me, and I will bury my dead there. So that was respectful negotiation. It was paying the proper price for a field that somebody wanted to give him, right?
Right.
And he's saying, no, or a burial site. I mean, he's saying, no, this is the proper honor. This is what I'm doing. I'm honoring you the correct way. I'm not even taking what you're trying to give to me. I'm going to honor the right way. David honoring Saul. I mean, we could do a whole podcast just
there we go, right there.
He refused to do any harm to the Lord's appointed. I mean, he was adamant of, even despite the fact that Saul persecuted him, that he was after him, he continued to show him respect, and not only respect for the man, but respect for the office. Because the man was corrupt.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, think about presidents in history. We could have the same exact mindset. 1 Samuel 24:6 says, and he said to his men, the Lord forbid that I should do this thing to my master, the Lord's anointed, to stretch out my hand against him, seeing he is the anointed of the Lord.
And that's when he's standing over him with a spear.
Yeah.
And he's asleep, and he could have ended it right there.
Yeah.
But he didn't.
Paul honoring governing authority. So Acts 23:5, then Paul said, I did not know, brethren, that he was the high priest, for it is written, you shall not speak evil of a ruler of your people. So he apologized for speaking against the high priest, and he's citing back to Exodus 22. He's saying, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to speak against them. How many times do we speak against pastors? Jesus honoring his mom.
Yeah.
John 19:26-27, when Jesus therefore saw his mother and the disciple whom he loved, which is so funny that John writes that, standing by, he said to his mother, woman, behold your son. Then he said to the disciple, behold your mother. And from that hour, the disciple took her as his own.
For those of you who didn't pick that up, is because the reason why John said, or Brian said it was funny, because John was the one there.
Yeah.
And he was writing about Jesus
himself,
saying
in
that.
third person.
And just wanted to let everybody know that he loved him.
Third person. Anybody that talks or writes in third person, gotta love it. So John actually ended up providing for her. He listened to all her concerns, everything else. And Jesus was still about his divine mission in that time.
Yeah.
And there was still honor for his mom in the moment where he's going, it's just crazy. Examples of wrong honor where it becomes worship. So Exodus 32, the golden calf, right? They created a visual representation to worship, which crossed over into idolatry. Exodus 32:4-5, and he received the gold from their hand, and he fashioned it with an engraving tool and made a molded calf. Then they said, this is your God, O Israel, that brought you out of the land of Egypt. So when Aaron saw it, he built an altar before it, and Aaron made a proclamation and said, tomorrow is a feast to the Lord. I don't even know what to say to that.
Because it's so contradictory.
It's crazy, but we do the same time.
I was going to say, how many times do we do the same thing? The Lord brought us through a season. The Lord brought us through something, and we're like, hey, giving recognition and honor to something else, our own capability, our own abilities, and I got through because of the strength. Well, great. Where'd the strength come from?
I got that raise at work. Well, who gave you the ability?
Yeah, who gave you the ability to do that?
Right.
I've worked really hard this year, and I did X. Mm-hmm. Cool. Who
I
gave
deserve,
you? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We all get there. We've all been there.
Yep.
What about King Herod in Acts 12:21-23? So on a set day, Herod, arrayed in royal apparel, sat on his throne and gave an oration to them. And the people kept shouting, the voice of a God and not of man. Then immediately an angel of the Lord struck him because he did not give glory to God, and he was eaten by worms and died. So he accepted that worship, and there was an immediate consequence for it.
So the opposite to that is Paul. Mm-hmm. Paul on I believe it was Isle of Patmos, I believe, when he came in, he was bitten by the snake.
Yep.
And then the natives were like, "Oh, he's a god." And he said, "Oh no,
that's right.
no, I'm not." And they tried to worship him as a god, and he would not allow
Wouldn't have it.
Right.
Yeah. So he on the flip side of that, he said, "No, you're not to worship me." Yeah.
What about Cornelius in Acts 10 bowing down to Peter? Peter was coming in, Cornelius met him, and he fell down at his feet and worshiped him. But Peter lifted him back up and said, "Stand up. I myself am also a man." So he's going, don't do that.
Yeah.
And again, back to heart posture. Are you heard and accepted it? Or are you
Jesus.
Peter and going, don't do it?
Or how many times have we, I'll just say me, how many times have I fell down and worship something that I had no business worshiping?
All of us.
I mean, it just, should I just go ahead and tell my little example that I talked about before? So my example was, I was listening to this gospel artist who I thought hung the moon. I wasn't the only one. There's probably thousands upon thousands of people
For sure.
the same
Still
thing.
are.
And the fact is that my respect of this artist's talent blurred the line into a worship of this person, thinking they could do no wrong. They just set the moon and stars in place.
Yep.
And then, as a human, what happens? This poor artist fell. I mean, and it totally crushed everything. How could that be? Well, is God real? About all these different things when I was the one in the wrong, because I was worshiping the talent that this person had instead of the one who gave this artist the talent. And that's a very fine place. Instead of honoring the fact of, man, what talent, what man, God has blessed us, and blah, 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 blah. I didn't do that. I went to the other side of it and mesmerized, or whatever.
And the danger with any of that, even with pastors who have bigger names that we can watch clips of, is it's very hard to check fruit of somebody you don't do life with.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, good grief. Social media is full of that.
Yeah.
Social media is our best foot forward all the time.
And it's dangerous.
Right? It's what you want. It's what you want people to think you are.
Right.
It's what you want people to believe that you are, but it's not necessarily who they are. You want to know somebody? Sit down behind closed doors. When the camera's off, when the microphones are down, when you see them in real life. And, I will say that is one of the I will say to anybody, anywhere, anytime, that is one of the things that I admire and honor about our pastors is they are the same on camera, on the platform, with a mic in their hand, as they are not.
Yeah, it's true.
I don't think we told the stories before, right? When the storms were coming, did we talk about that on here?
Yeah,
we're
you can hear screaming at the storm.
You can hear Pastor Amanda out commanding the wind and the winds and the storm to cease and to pass over. Same everywhere.
Yeah, it's true. And that's why you have to be careful what wells you drink out of. And I listen to lots of pastors and whatever, but I also, there's not a single pastor, including ours, that I don't test.
You have to. You have to.
That's also godly.
And it depends on your heart posture in the test.
Yeah,
sure.
If you're testing that posture, that pastor, speaker, whoever it is you're listening to, if you're testing them to prove a got you moment, that's the wrong heart posture. You're not doing the right thing. If you are testing what they said is to live and dig deeper, because listen, if there's a 30-minute sermon or an hour sermon, you're not going to be able to digest the entire sermon. You're just not.
Nope.
Because there's a lot going into that sermon. There may be one part of that sermon that speaks to you the most, that the Lord then uses to then pull you to the altar of repentance in some various form or way. But to really study, that's like reading a chapter in the Bible and say, I fully understand every word that's in there.
Right.
No, you're not.
No, that's not true.
It's about going back and studying on it and reading it, digging into it to fully understand then what was taught to you. Just like in school, okay? You go in and you have assignments. Well, the thing is that the teacher will teach you the problem, but it's better for you to then do the problem yourself to understand why 1 + 1 = 2,
right?
Or how you get the answer for pi squared, whatever it is. Because if you just take it at face value, you're never really going to understand it because you haven't put it into practice by learning and doing the different things.
Back in school, that was learning to pass the test, not learning to apply to life.
Learn it to vomit and move on.
Right? Yeah.
It's true. So this is the last scripture I want to cover, and there's a few things we can discuss. But Mark 7:6-9, he answered and said to them, well did Isaiah prophesy of you hypocrites, as it is written, this people honors me with their lips, but their heart is far from me, and in vain they worship me, teaching as doctrines the commandments of men, for laying aside the commandment of God. You hold the tradition of men, the washing of pitchers and cups, and many other such things you do. He said to them, all too well you reject the commandment of God, that you may keep your tradition. The last thing that I want to talk about us worshiping is tradition, is religious mindsets. And that's something that we do worship.
Yeah.
We worship it, and I think we don't even know that we worship. We have such a crazy mindset of things that are so ingrained to us that we ought to constantly be praying when we feel things. Go, God, is that a tradition? Is that a religious mindset, or is that you?
I think that's just as big of a problem as worshiping man than
It
anything
is.
else. Because, well, why do you believe the way you believe? Well, that's what my parents believed.
Right.
Well, then that's what my grandparents believe. Well, why do you go to that church? Because that's where they went to church.
That's right.
Okay, but I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but have you researched for yourself to find out why you believe what you believe? Because I'll use myself and my family as an example, because I can talk about us and it's okay. My family being me, Tara, and Logan.
Yeah.
My immediate family.
Yeah.
Again, we got a lot of flack for sending Logan to a Catholic school, right? And now he just graduated from a Wesleyan college. He's going to go get his master's. I'm not 100% sure where that's going to be at just yet.
Yeah.
But the fact, with all of that, what the point I'm getting to is Logan had to learn for himself to be able to stand on his own feet, why he believes what he believes. So when what we talked about in the podcast the past 2 weeks, it's the parent's job to raise their children. It's the parent, and that is spiritually as well, teaching your children
For sure.
the way to go, so they shall not depart from it. So in doing that, so Logan going to a Catholic school and learning all the principles. I mean, he had Bible class every year. He was taught the different prayers. He was expected to say the prayers. He had Mass once a week. But in that, again, Logan took from that what was truth, and then took from that what wasn't truth, and was able to separate said things on his own. Moving forward into life, he understands now, it set him up as a man to be able to walk in his own 2 feet, and I can say, Logan, why do you believe what you believe?
Yeah.
And he'll say, because of this and this and this and this and this. And the thing is that's how we need to train up our children, to be able to stand on their own 2 feet. So that's how we need to be able to train and disciple the children of the Lord coming up, to stand on their own 2 feet and not say, hey, Brian, this is the way ye shall walk. Well, why? Because I said so.
Because I said.
What is that going to do to help Brian be able to do anything in his Christian walk? He'll fall. So that's why that's why we say test.
Yeah.
That's why we say prove, because it's, again, the heart posture of it is learning, understanding. So when the tests come, hey, your pastor's not going to be standing right next to you every time you're tempted.
That's right.
More than not, they'll be nowhere near you. And it'll be at a time where you can't call anybody.
Yep.
You need to be able to stand on your own 2 feet when the testing comes. Jesus himself was taken where? Away from everybody to what? A desert place.
Wilderness.
To be what?
Tested.
Tempted by the devil. To be tested. And guess what? He passed the test. So how many of us, if we were pulled into the desert, could pass the test? And you're not going to pass the test unless you know what you believe for why.
Yeah.
And why you believe what you believe for yourself, not based on a religion, a denomination, a pastor, a teacher. It's got to be because that's what God spoke to you.
Yeah.
And when God speaks a word, you'll never forget.
That's right. That lends perfectly, talking about Logan being able to discern and to know, it leads perfectly into the practical part of this podcast, which we always try to start going into at the end. Honor is appropriate when it recognizes God-given positions or giftedness.
Mm-hmm.
It's appropriate when it remains under God's authority.
Mm-hmm.
It's appropriate when the person points others to God.
Right.
It's appropriate when it expresses gratitude without dependence.
Wow, that's good.
Right.
Mm.
So
That's
you can appreciate
really
and honor the
good.
person's position without depending on them.
Correct.
There shouldn't be dependence.
No. Oh, but see, that goes against a lot of church planning,
It does.
because church planning is all about getting everybody into the four walls and keeping them.
Yep.
Not sending them out and allowing them to go out and minister. Just saying.
We're called.
We're called to what? Go into all the world
Yeah.
and preach the gospel.
What was that, Matthew 6:33?
Mhm.
It also is appropriate when it can be withdrawn if the person falls into serious sin. And I want to park here for 30 seconds, because how many times do we get so fixated on a leader or a pastor because they've spoken a word over us, or they prayed for us, or they touched us in some way that marked us and changed our life, that when or if they fall away and they're doing the wrong things, that we still dogmatically defend them, and instead of going to them and saying, hey, scripturally, you're out of line, and here's why, and following the scriptural way to talk about that, we just go, no, we love them. We don't care what they do. That turns into worship. So it crosses into worship when the person becomes your source of truth over scripture. You trust them for what only God can provide. You look to them for your source, and they're not your source. You excuse clear sin to protect their reputation. How many pastors today do we know that have been exposed, proven that they've done something wrong, and you still have people who are defending every single thing they do and twisting it to make it sound like something that it's not? Your identity depends on their approval.
Ooh. And you know what? There's what I'm not saying. The funny thing is,
100%.
the funny thing is that point right there goes back generations.
100% it does.
So I love watching the Andy Griffith Show.
Mm-hmm.
Love that show. It's a great show. Highly recommend it. But what do? They go to church on Sunday. But it's all about, oh, the pastor's coming over. We
Yeah.
got to make sure we get the right foot forward. We got to do this. We got to have their approval. And then if they don't get the pastor's approval, if the pastor doesn't want to stay for coffee or something, they tank.
Yep.
It's literally been going on like that for generations. You
Yep.
know? I mean, the funny story, we all like to joke about is, oh, the pastor's come over to the house, let's get the Bible and put it out on the table.
That's right.
You try to put the best foot, you know what I'm saying?
No, it's true.
You try to put that best foot forward to get the pastor's approval. So it hasn't really have anything to do with God. You just want
Nothing.
that pastoral approval.
Not a thing to do with God.
And there's nothing with God in that. You might as well you might as well just bow before the idol, and so that way you don't get thrown into the fire.
That's
At
true.
that point, oh Jesus!
And you obey them in defiance of God's clear command.
Oh, listen, there's so much of that going on in these big mega churches right now.
There's a whole pastor that just left a big name pastor because of some things they were doing, and like the wheels are coming off, and I'm like,
There's so
and it hurts the church. It hurts the Big C church.
because again, it gives the devil a foothold
It does.
to where all these people that are watching are saying, "See, I told you." They're just like every one of them else.
Yep.
That's why it's so important. People are like, well, it's just me. It doesn't affect anybody but me. I can go have this drink in public. It's not going to affect anybody but me. Okay, well, what about that person who knows what you claim to be and knows and they see you? They may not say a word to you, but you're causing them to stumble. Why? Oh, they're just like everybody else.
Sure.
And that's going to rock some.
So some things that this was interesting when I was studying and researching this too, because this took me a while to be okay with. When Crystal and I first became elders, somehow, I don't know how, but like at church I became Elder B. Like that's what everybody calls me, Elder B. And it bothered me for a long. I'm like, don't call me elder. Like I don't want to be called elder. Like it feels way too
Weird.
weighty, and I don't want to be. And the Lord dealt with me, and He's like, if you're going to walk in that position, then you have to accept appropriate respect for your role. And that took me a minute. Like, and Jeremy, in your instance, you've been a pastor for a lot of years. Did you struggle with that at first, with being a pastor?
Still do.
Yeah.
I still do. I mean, we'll see kids outside of church and they'll, Pastor Jeremy. And I'm just like, or they'll say they'll just say Jeremy. And their parents are like, that's Pastor Jeremy. And I'm like, Jeremy's fine. I don't demand
Yeah.
that. Right. But yeah, it's the same thing. It's weird.
Yeah.
It just doesn't feel natural, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, that's the wrong word.
But again, we really should be accepting.
We should be, because it is something that God has asked us to do. It's something
is.
God has called us to be. And if they're trying to honor and respect what He's called us to be and what He's asked us to do, right? We should that. Now, the difference is I'm never going to correct someone the other way.
Right. For sure.
You know, if a kid comes up or a parent comes up or somebody and, hey, Jeremy, I'm like, that's Pastor Jeremy.
Right. 100%.
No, I don't, because it's not a demand. It's not something that's expected. But yes, if they're going to do it, I'm not going to correct them the other way. But yeah, it feels for the longest time, it felt weird.
Yeah.
But I respect that in the aspect of I'd rather you be comfortable with the uncomfortable, like you said, than the other. You know, because it is hard.
And it's all about pointing people back to God, right?
And again, it goes back to what?
Heart posture. Are you drawing them to Him, or are they drawing to you?
And
Right.
for church members, you have to be able to respect your leaders without making them infallible.
Oh,
I mean, that's a huge thing.
That's
We
huge.
think that I tell people all the time, because because of the family connections and everything else, and John drove a bus for lots of famous people. The most famous person in the world puts their pants on the same way that you do.
they may be more expensive pants, but
They might
still
be.
one leg at a time.
But they still
But their
have
breast still
mess.
stinks when they get up in the morning. Need to
does.
brush their
Yeah,
teeth.
absolutely.
I mean, it's all the same thing.
Yeah.
And it's great. We need to honor spiritual gifts while we test the teaching against Scripture.
Absolutely.
Study to show yourself approved. Support materially those who serve.
And the thing is that if you are under leadership that does not support you studying to show yourself approved,
You're in the
there's
wrong
a problem.
place. That's
You're
right.
in the wrong place.
And hold leaders accountable with honor.
Yeah.
That is key.
You got to hold people. Everybody has to be held
Everybody
accountable.
has to be held
There's not a
accountable.
person on the face of this planet.
No.
Billy Graham had accountability partners.
Yes. Yes, he
And not
did.
that Billy Graham is the be all end all. I just use him because I feel like he was fairly infallible this side of heaven. I mean, I'm sure that he
But it's
wasn't.
because he set certain things up early on
He
in
did.
his ministry
And never back
that
up.
was non-negotiable and never back down. He had those people in his life to keep him accountable.
So where do you see the line between honor and worship being blurred in modern Christian culture the most? Like, where do you feel like that line is? Do you think it's pastors? Do you think it's worship leaders? Do you think all the above? What are your thoughts on it?
I'm going to take a little bit of a different angle. I think the where you see it the most is by people not recognizing that we're worshiping things that we should be honoring only, right? We are putting other things above God, and we don't even recognize it. Whether that's a job, whether that's your family, whether that's money, whether that's your phone, whether that is your Netflix, whatever the case is, I think that many times we don't even realize that we are worshiping things that we shouldn't. And I think that, to me, is just as dangerous of a line, if not more, than being at the point of, well, if Pastor so-and-so isn't preaching it, then I can't be there.
Yeah.
And so I think it's almost the inverse side of that is we don't recognize the things that we actually are worshiping that we shouldn't be.
No, it's true. Because if most churches nowadays don't announce when the senior pastor is not going to be there because they know attendance is going to go down. It's a proven stat.
It is a proven stat. That is 100% factual.
I think the best example, I'm just going to say it. I think one of the best examples to answer that question is the very fact that praise and worship is not praise and worship anymore. It's a genre.
Yeah. Yeah.
Praise and worship has been turned into a genre of music. First of all, let me say this. I love worship music.
Yeah.
I listen to it on the daily. It keeps me centered. I'm thankful for worship music. But the problem is that I believe praise and worship music has turned into an idol to so many people because they feel that, I can just listen to my praise and worship, but I don't need God. I don't need church. And let me share an example with you of why that's bad. We'll go back to King Saul. Why did he hire David? To what?
Calmed him.
Play the harp,
Calmed
because it
him.
calmed him.
Kept the spirits away.
It kept the spirits away. Now listen, praise and worship, there's anointed music.
Absolutely.
But the problem, in my opinion, and look, I'm not being legalistic here. God knows my heart, and you two know my heart.
Yep.
I'm not being legalistic here. To me, it bothers me.
Yeah.
It bothers me that we have this, it's a genre that is pointed. If you go back to the old school praise and worship songs, you know what the interesting thing about it is that it was all about God, to Jesus.
It's true.
Shout to the Lord, all the earth. Let us sing. Of power and majesty, praise to the King. Mountains bow down, the seas will roar at what? The sound of your name. Now a lot of your worship music is all about me and what I can do to, you see the difference?
Yeah.
And people are like, no, that's just not true. Okay. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
If you really start breaking down and listen to it lyrically, the songs of it. Again, I love praise and worship music, but I'm just saying as a broad answer to the question that you had asked, that is the biggest example to me of where the lines are getting.
And music is the
blurred.
most powerful thing, right? I mean, Satan was the worship leader.
And the thing is if it's happening on that level, it's happening on I use that as a broad scale level. But that is happening in all the churches as well.
Yep.
Because worship is being shifted away from what it's supposed to be and to a thing.
Well, we get talent and anointing confused.
Yes.
Well, and
There are lots of talented people. There's not many anointed people.
we also are confusing Christian entertainment with worship.
Yeah.
Right? Good. Christian entertainment, we need it, right? You don't need to be out in the world listening to different things. But there are certain songs like the kids will come in and being a kids pastor, we want to hear X, right? Whatever, enter whatever artist. I'm like, that's not worship. That's just a Christian song.
Yeah.
And then we'll talk about why. Well, that's not. It's talking about this person and how I feel when this and how I feel when that, as opposed to pointing people to God. But there is a place for Christian entertainment, and it's good, and it should be there, because otherwise your entertainment is going to come from the world that's full
and there's
of all
nothing
the other
wrong
things.
with bringing Christian entertainment into your churches.
That's
for a
where it
concert.
should be.
It's awesome.
But
when you try to call that worshiping God in a praise and worship moment, it's not it, right?
Let everything that has breath praise the Lord, right?
Yeah.
And
Praise the
so
Lord.
all things we do should be used to honor Him. All things we do should bring glory to Him.
Mhm.
But to your point, there is a difference in praise music and worship music that brings and points to Him versus pointing to me.
And listen, I'm going to just say this too, because, and I don't care if you agree or disagree.
Oh.
CeCe Winans, when she sings, she brings the presence of the Holy Spirit.
Trips with anointing.
And here's why I'm saying that. You know what she does every time she sings? She points right back to Jesus.
Right back every time.
Right back. There's never that you're not going to find any clips of her going, "Oh, I'm good, I'm amazing." She points it to Jesus every single time. And I got the privilege years ago when we were in another church to actually sing with her. She's the kind of person, like our pastors, who she is on that stage is who she is behind the door. And that's few and far between. So put your tray tables up and put your seat backs up, because we're landing this
Landing
joke.
Can I just say real quick?
Of course you can.
I have nothing against praise and worship music.
No.
As a
no,
whole,
no.
I'm using that as an example because I believe that it has turned into something that is being worshipped and not the God of it.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing that I talked about, right? We don't even realize that we're putting those. Many times I don't even think we grasp. I don't think we understand that we're putting things above Him.
Yeah.
Because our with our purest of intents of what we're doing, but we get into the ritual, we get into the routine,
Yeah, no, it's
and then
true.
that routine
Open
and
our
that
eyes,
ritual
Lord.
becomes more. You need that more than you need Him.
Yeah.
Which then goes to the fact of the one verse. I understand it a lot more now because I've studied it.
Yeah.
To me, look, you could talk about Revelation being scary all you want. Revelation is scary to a point, but
It's a
to me,
roadmap.
it's not anywhere near as scary as Matthew 7. Matthew 7 to me is the scariest stretch of all in the Word, because broad is the way that leads to destruction, and narrow is the way that leads to righteousness. There will be those in that day who say, Lord, Lord, I've cast out demons in your name. And he's going to say, depart from me, I never knew you.
Yep.
That goes to your point, Jeremy. That is the scariest thing in the world, because it's been routine and it feels good.
Yeah.
But yet, again, let's go back to heart posture. Saul was tamed by the music and it felt good to him, but there was nothing there because he had a reprobate heart. God turned his heart to a heart of stone, and the Spirit had departed from him.
It's true.
That is why it is so important to check ourselves. I'm just looking at all of us.
Absolutely.
Ourselves.
Yeah, because we can get into self-worship too.
Oh. So
I'm
easily.
checking the boxes. I cast out demons.
Yes.
I preach. I prophesy.
I prayed for that person, and guess what? They went to the doctor, and they were healed.
Gosh.
Yeah.
And that's that's what I heard somebody say, casting all your cares upon the Lord, for he cares for you. It's not casting all just the sad ones.
Right.
It's casting the things that you can't handle.
Yeah.
You can't handle accolades that are coming to you because
no, sir.
Because the biggest problem we have is pride. That needs to be cast at the feet of Jesus.
That's right. You know, the beauty of biblical honor is that it never diminishes God's glory.
Mm-hmm.
True biblical honor doesn't. In fact, when we honor people rightly, we're honoring God's image in them.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's a beautiful thing. When we're honoring the reflection of who God is in somebody, we're honoring Him, His sovereignty, and placing them in our lives. There's a thankfulness. There's an honoring and of God. Thank you that you placed John and Jeremy in my life. That I honor the calling on their life. I honor who they are. I honor how they speak into my life. And the moment that our honor of people competes with our worship of God, that's when we've crossed the line.
Yeah,
and it harms everybody. It harms the person that we're worshiping.
Oh, Lord,
and it harms us.
Yep. And to that point, that's hard. Just to go with full disclosure on that point that Brian just had. That honor isn't just me being able to have the privilege to honor my friend Jeremy, my brother Brian. We're also called to honor the people that we can't stand.
Man.
And that's hard.
Well, now you're getting real.
The Lord's taught me so much about that this year.
Yeah. I mean, it's because Jesus died. Somebody said it the other day, and I don't know why it's taken me 47 years for it to click. But when they said it the other day, it hit me in the face. That's why I love the Word so much. Gosh, I say it with a smile, and you guys can see me smile. I love the Word because you can hear things a million times, and that one time it just clicks.
Yeah.
Something is revelation you've never seen before.
Yeah.
But somebody said the other day, Jesus even loves the sinners. He died for them.
He did.
Because you know what? How narcissistic can we get? Well, Jesus just died for me. And I deserve God's love. Well, guess what?
He would have.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of the whole thing.
It is.
That's it.
Is he died for those that accept him. He died for those that don't accept him. But even if it was just me, he still would have done it. And that's the beautiful thing that when you grasp that, truly understand that in your heart, and you truly, it makes you worship him
even more.
That much more.
He died for the people that we consider the worst on the earth.
Oh,
the people who go out here in the name of some God and just murder people senselessly. You know what? The thing is that he loves those people as much as he loves the one that we hope gets saved.
Yep. No, it's truth.
And that is what just broke me, because for whatever reason I heard it and I got that realization. I'm like, first of all, God, thank you for allowing me to hear you.
Yeah.
And allow me to have tenderness towards your calling and your unction to come to you. Because the Bible does say in Revelation, until all have heard.
Oh.
So everybody will hear.
Yep.
and until all have heard. And it's our as a human race, it is up to us to accept or deny.
Yep. I'm going to share 2 really quick things just because I can, because
Do it.
Why not? This is something prophetic for the ending of the year that I wanted to share. So, oh, look, Tara and Christina just bought John and Jeremy coffee. They're sweet. Tara said, at your service.
She must have heard us at the beginning.
So, we've shared, well, I've shared, especially in some of the podcasts, this has been a hard year, right? And today, I feel like the Lord has sealed up the end of this hard year. And this hit me so funny. It was funny, but I really do feel like it's prophetic. We've been having some plumbing issues for a week now, and I had somebody come out, and
I just tied it all together.
Listen, it hit me like a ton of bricks. Like, it's funny, but I believe it's prophetic. My septic tank is full.
Which it should not be yet.
2.5 years I've lived here. My septic tank shouldn't be full. But here's what I'm going to, and Aaron and Amanda have 5 people living in their house, 6 people living in their house, and theirs is not full.
We have 4.
Jeremy and Christina have 4. Theirs is not full. We have 3, and our septic tank is full. My house was the last one.
I was the first one in.
Yeah. So all that to say, my septic tank shouldn't be full, but it is. But they're coming tomorrow to clean the crap out.
Literally.
And I believe that's the end of this year.
Yeah.
It's the end of this. The crap of this year is cleaned out. It's cleaned out. And I know that sounds silly to probably 30% of y'all, but there's 70% of y'all that get that. And I'm just saying, prophetically, we're cleaning the crap out of the end of this year. We're moving into a better next year. And I can say this too, because they posted it on social media. Our oldest daughter told us yesterday she's pregnant.
Yeah.
So we have another grandbaby that is on the way. We're praying and believing for a healthy baby. And this is a big deal, guys, because, she's the one who her baby died last year. And so I believe it's a full circle moment. Again, we're getting rid of the crap.
And see, the thing is that what you're saying, because you have tested and proven God so many times, how many blessings do we miss, or how many times do we miss what God's trying to tell us in the frustration of the moment?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because today could have been really frustrating, believe me.
It's Christmas time. It's all the things.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jesus, your job and all the things. There's frustrations, there's all these different things. And really right now, okay, let's go watch Christmas Vacation, whatever.
Yeah.
It's full. It's full. But the thing is that in that, see, that's why that's why we mash on heart posture.
Yeah.
We mash on it.
It's true.
Because the fact is that when you really should be ticked off right now, because you're having to open this thing up and have all the crap disposed of, sucked out, wherever it's going to do.
Yeah.
That should be frustrating, being in a house only 2 years.
Yep.
So you could have looked at that and gotten mad, or you could have done what you've done, listened to God in that moment. Yeah, you know what? That's really funny what I just said. Yes, even in the hardest times of your life, you should sit and listen to what God's trying to tell you.
Yeah,
because
what's he saying?
Maybe he's trying to tell you something good in the midst of the bad. That's why I love the song. It's an old song. But sometimes he calms the storm, and other times he calms his child.
Yeah.
So sometimes he calms the storm around you, and other times he calms you in the midst of the storm. And I dare say you learn the most when he calms you in the midst of the storm, because that's when he speaks the loud.
Yeah.
This.
The Spirit reflects the natural. Cleaning out the crap as we move into 2026, and it's going to be a better year in Jesus' name.
In Jesus' name.
Amen.
That is episode 18, Honor versus Worship.
Whoop, whoop.
Thank you guys, as always, for listening to
Two
Baptists
Saturday morning.
Walk into Pentecostal Church. Like and subscribe everywhere you get your podcast.